Well, candidates across New Jersey are preparing to enter the fall stretch to November's election, and a new voter registration analysis by the New York Times finds the Democratic Party is losing ground with new voters, while Republican voter registration numbers have been surging. That's both across the country and here in New Jersey, where the GOP is outpacing Democrats, though the Democratic Party does still hold a wide margin here. Senior political correspondent David Cruz joins me now after talking to some key political operatives in the state from both sides of the political aisle to interpret the numbers. David, hey, it's good to see you. So what do these voter registration numbers tell us about the trends that we're seeing here?
Yeah, it should be noted that both major parties have expanded their voter bases. Republicans are up about 35%, while Democrats are up about 20%. Republicans here, like strategists like Chris Russell, who is a Jack Ciattarelli man, looks at those numbers and the trends, and he thinks that those numbers bode well for the GOP for come November.
New Jersey was kind of the tip of the spear in a lot of this. I mean, it's been, with one exception, 53 straight months of Republican gains in terms of voter registration. From back in 2020, 21, we were at 1.1 million registrants in the whole. That's now down to about 860,000 or so. A significant growth. I think that was reflected in the 21 governor's race. It was certainly reflected in the 24 presidential race. And we're seeing it now. And a lot of it is interesting, David. It's not just, the days of the Republicans being viewed as kind of the party of old people and people on their lawn ranting at people to get off their lawn. It's not that way anymore. Younger voters, minority voters, newer voters. I mean, Republicans are winning in all of these places, and Democrats are losing. So I think it's not just a function of a snapshot in time. If this trend continues, and I think there's no reason to believe it won't right now, this is a great sign for Republicans, not just in the short term, but the long term. Democrats are no longer the party of, it's no longer cool to be a Democrat, right? It's more cool to be a Republican at this point. And I've been doing this for a long time, and it's the first time I can say that in a long time, but it's certainly happening. And that Time story was really spelled it out very clearly.
It's more cool to be a Republican. So you hear Chris Russell talking about the future there. It's 4.5 million new voters. The deficit between Democrats and Republicans over the country is 4.5 million voters, and that's a lot of votes, and it's going to take some years to make that up. In New Jersey, Democrats have taken notice, but they seem to be doing pretty much nothing to close the gap. We asked Phil Elijah this week. He's a prominent Essex County Democratic operative. He pointed out that there's still, and you heard Chris mention it, 860 or so thousand more Democrats than Republicans here in New Jersey, but that's down from 1.1 million just a few years ago. Elijah says, despite that trend, registration numbers from the most recent primary are actually good news for Democrats.
It's not a positive trend, but it's not an insurmountable trend. It's not something that makes me worry for the 2025 election. It may make me worry for 2035 or 2030 if the trend continues, but I don't think we're talking about in July, the numbers just came out, and it was an increase of about 2,000 votes in Republican registrations. A number that absolutely concerns me, but not a number where I'm raising a red flag and saying this is going to affect the 2025 election. To be able to vote in a primary in New Jersey, you need to declare, and we had 82,000 unaffiliated voters declare for the Democratic Party in June. That's an exciting number. The energy in June for the Democratic Party, for all the candidates, the Mayor Baraka had huge excitement, Steve Fulop had excitement, Sweeney, Spiller, and Gottheimer, and Mikey had the most. So I think it was a great primary. I think everyone now is consolidated behind Mikey Sherrill. Like I said, I'm concerned about it for the far future, but I don't think it's going to have an impact on as much on 2025 as you may believe.
You know, some people might call that a little cavalier. especially here in Jersey, where elections come, every few months. So we talked to Micah Rasmussen of the Rebovich Institute at Rider University, and he looks at these trends all the time. He thinks Democrats should at least be a little worried.
I think this is a difference in enthusiasm, and it's a longer term difference in enthusiasm. Republicans are fired up. They are knocking on doors. They are out organizing. They're out working. They're hungry for this. And so I think that's been the difference over the course of the long term. I like to take another snapshot look at things, which is that 4 years ago, when Jack Ciattarelli lost to Governor Murphy by only 75,000 votes, the difference between Republicans and Democrats for that election was 1,070,000 voter advantage for Democrats. They had over a million voter advantage over Republicans. Now that difference is down to 864,000 voters. And so it is a big difference, 200,000 votes. When you lost an election by 75,000 votes, that is the kind of ground that you want to make up that's going to make you more competitive than the last election, not less competitive than the last election.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting point. I wonder, though, David, do any of these numbers give us a breakdown of the demographics, exactly who is registering as new voters for these parties?
Well, we didn't see that in the Times analysis, but we do know. You heard Chris Russell say it's cool to be a Republican again. In the last 6 years, Republicans went from roughly 1/3 of newly registered voters under 45 to a majority now. So younger voters trending Republican. The trend lines are equally bad for Democrats among Latino and African American voters. It should be noted, just for some context, that they still hold big majorities among Latinos and African Americans. But you saw that in the presidential election. Republicans did make some inroads with Latino voters and significantly Black voters.
Yeah, I know Phil Elagius said he's not worried about this election, but in the years to come, and we know that those years creep up quickly, especially when it comes to politics. David Cruz for us. David, thanks so much.
Thank you.